Hello everyone, my name's Troy Roberts. I'm a saxophonist and composer, a band leader, and today I'm also an educator. A bit about myself in a nutshell: I'm based in New York City. I am an immigrant from Australia. I've enjoyed an artistically lucrative career thus far, and it's far from over, working with some of the greatest names in jazz, including Jeff Tain Watts, Joey DeFrancesco, Kurt Elling, Wayne Shorter, and outside of jazz too, with musicians such as Van Morrison, Aretha Franklin, Glenn Campbell. I have 16 releases as a leader as of now. I have 3 Grammy nominations to my name, as well as having performed on a Grammy award-winning album recently. Over the years, I've gotten lots of inquiries as to how I learn tunes and how I spend time with tunes. So at the risk of this sounding like an AA meeting, I've developed a 7-step method for first and foremost exploring the basics of a tune. And this is really important mostly for single note instrumentalists such as saxophonists and trumpet players, etc. You see, pianists and guitarists get to play all the stuff all the time, whether they're accompanying themselves or a vocalist or a soloist. And sure, us single note instrumentalists have to know the harmony, but we're never put in a position to play the harmony for someone, like accompany someone. So that makes this an even more valuable tool. Another reason for my method is to serve as an exercise in building vertical tension. And this was born out of my desire to find an alternative way to build tension without the stereotypical things we saxophonists always fall into, which is double time, playing outside, then altissimo. So with a strong understanding of the melody and guide tone lines, this approach is wonderfully melodic and super quirky whilst being completely inside. So say we take a jazz standard that most people know well, such as Stella by Starlight. Step 1, you would want to check out as many versions as you can to figure out the pure melody, unembellished. So this will help you to not end up sounding like you're playing someone else's interpretation. So Stella by Starlight. That's step 1. It's often overlooked, really knowing a pure, unembellished melody to build your own interpretation from. So step 2 is to arpeggiate the chords to the 9th. And this will be out of time, but eventually you want to make it in time. And the only case I don't go to the 9th is on minor 7 flat 5 chords. I just go to the root, my ear takes me there. So here is the harmony to Stella by Starlight, arpeggiated to the 9th, with the exception of minor 7 flat 5 chords. Okay, so now you want to get that under your fingers so it's like second nature You don't really have to think about it too much, and you can play it in time. Okay, I'm showing you I'm human there. I could have worked on that a little more. But you get the point. So the next step is this is step number 3. The melody and the roots as close to the harmonic rhythm as possible. Because we're single note instrumentalists, we can't play 2 notes at the same time. So just get them as close as you can. This brings us to step number 4, which is to play the roots, but also find the 3rds and 7ths and make them smoothly connect to the 3rds and 7ths of the next chord. For example, I'm going to tell you the numbers. The root, which is 1, then I'm going to have the 7th and the 3rd. Now the next chord is going to be the root, the 3rd and the 7th, because they move really smoothly from the previous chord. So you're not going to go because the lines are making big unnecessary jumps. Guide tones, firstly, you'll find they always fall downward. So we want to keep them as far as we can from the root. The other thing is guide tones will generally only move a major or minor 2nd, sometimes a 3rd. So here's the roots and the 3rds and 7ths as smoothly connecting guide tones to Stella by Starlight. So then you would want to get that to as close as possible to in time. So this brings us to step number 5, which is to play the melody, the roots, and one of those guide tone lines. And you've got to remember which one you did, because step 6 is to play the roots, the melody, and the other guide tone line. I'm going to choose the guide tone line which starts on the 7th of E half diminished. Now I'm going to play the melody, roots, and the other guide tone line, which begins on the 3rd of the half diminished. So you'll find thus far we've been playing the melody, the roots, and these 2 guide tone lines that weave through the harmony, connecting everything. But the inadvertent lesson being learnt here is wide intervals. It's not out of focus, it's out of necessity. There's always something being learnt in the background. If we focus, as in Western music, on melody and harmony and chord scale relationships, we're actually given all the notes that are right or wrong. We're actually improvising with rhythms, usually pretty badly. So if we focus on rhythm, then we're actually improvising the notes to put to those rhythms. So that's just a little side thought. So this brings us to step number 7, which is to weave through the harmony using chord tones and scale tones, minimal consecutive seconds and minimal consecutive thirds, because to me that's still, it's still horizontal. It's still linear. Also, I try to avoid a repetitive melodic contour as well. So once again, this is at this point still out of time, incredibly quirky, but super inside. So eventually you want to get this to playing in time, in tempo, which is really tough when you're making interval leaps this big. But it will inadvertently lead you to rhythms and shapes that you may not have ever stumbled across before. So I'm going to give you an example, hopefully, of playing linear bebop lines, you know, very horizontal, and gradually build the tension by getting vertical. And hopefully avoid all the stereotypical things we sax players always do, double time, outside, and altissimo for the sake of altissimo. So here is a few choruses of Stella by Starlight in time. So hopefully you could hear the changes really clearly. There wasn't really anything outside. Altissimo was not for the sake of altissimo, and the double time wasn't a tool for building tension. So you can get wonderfully creative by employing this technique. Really quirky, really inside. But yeah, if you haven't done it before, it's going to be a tricky process. It's worth getting down, and it's going to get easier the more you do it. So now we've got the building blocks to spell 2-5-1s in a wider fashion than arpeggiation. We've got the roots, thirds and sevenths. But there are other ways to build harmony that are not consecutive thirds. For example, piano voicings. We have the fourth voicing for a minor chord, which, say we take on the tenor saxophone a D minor 7, we can build, instead of 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, we can go 1, 4, 7, 3, 5. Now, we don't have the advantage of playing the chord, but when we play them as single notes like that, we kind of got a new rhythm. There's some fives. So if we play it straight back down, it kind of flips around. So if you've never done that shape before, it's a cool exercise to kind of get under your fingers in every key. So we could spell the dominant chord perhaps 7, 3, 13, 9, and 5. So instead of, we can go, so we can make an exercise of that. We can combine that and make a 2-5 exercise. We can also take the same approach, piano voicings, to spell minor 2-5 also. So if you get these things under your fingers, there's so much music to be made. And I really hope that these tools help you expand your musicianship. Thank you for listening.